Hi, welcome to the Rose at Home channel. I am Rose. I am at home with a humongous stack of new books, and I am so incredibly glad that you have decided to join me today while I show you all of the things that I picked up in the month of July. And there's so many, we're gonna jump right in. The first thing that I got was Chloe Gong's Immortal Longings. This was a book of the month option, but I didn't want the book of the month version, so I waited for the Barnes & Noble's version. Barnes & Noble did a promotional thing for people with their premium membership. I got a free year of the premium membership, so I really took advantage of it this month, starting with this book. And it is a Barnes & Noble special edition, so I'm gonna show you this one. The naked cover is just plain, but we've got these great, look at those. These great end pages. It's really pretty. You know me and a beautiful book, so I'm super glad that I held out and got this version. So let me tell you what it's about. Every year, thousands in the Kingdom of Talon will flock to its capital twin cities, San Air, where the palace hosts a set of games. For those confident enough in their ability to jump between bodies, there is a fight to the death across San Air for a chance to win unimaginable riches. Princess Kala Tualayemi lurks in hiding. 5 years ago, a massacre left her parents dead and the Palace of Air empty, and she was the one who did it. Before her uncle, King Kasa, and his forces in San could catch her, she plans to finish the job and bring down the monarchy. The king always greets the victor of the game, so if she wins, she gets her opportunity to kill him at last. Enter Anton Magusa, an exiled aristocrat. His childhood love has lain in a coma since they were both ousted from the palace, and he's deep in debt trying to keep her alive. Thankfully, he's one of the best jumpers in the kingdom, flitting from body to body at will. His last chance at saving her is entering the games and winning. Kala finds both an unexpected alliance with Anton and help from King Kasa's adopted son, August Shenzi, who wants to mend Talon's ills. But the three of them have very different goals, even as Kala and Anton's partnership spirals into something all-consuming. Before the games close, Kala must decide what she's playing for, her lover or her kingdom. That sounds amazing. This is apparently Chloe Gong's first adult fantasy novel, and I am here for it. It is loosely inspired by Antony and Cleopatra. You know I love my Shakespeare. So I always say this, but I really can't wait to be able to get to this one. I have a very strong feeling I'm gonna absolutely love it. This is another book. There were actually 3 in this stack that came out on the same day. This has been a great month for new releases, and it is Silvia Moreno-Garcia's Silver Nitrate. From what I understand, this is more along the horror lines. Silvia Moreno-Garcia writes across genres. Her writing isn't something where you can peg, okay, I've read this one so I know how the rest are gonna go. She's written mythology, she's written vampire, she's written gothic, she's written horror, she's written mystery, she's written noir. So she does not let herself be pigeonholed, she just kind of jumps the gamut. I love everything of hers that I've read. I'm a big fan, and I'm a big fan of not letting yourself being pigeonholed, so I always try out, even if it's normally not a genre in the past been really excited about, I always jump in. So even the cover looks creepy. Look at those eyes, man. Okay, here's what this one is about. Montserrat has always been overlooked. She's a talented sound editor, but she's left out of the boys club running the film industry in the 90s, Mexico City. And she's all but invisible to her best friend, Tristan, a charming, if faded, soap opera star, though she's been in love with him since childhood. Then Tristan discovers that his new neighbor is the cult horror director, Abel Urueta, and the legendary auteur claims that he can change their lives, even if his tale of a Nazi occultist imbibing magic into highly volatile silver nitrate stock sounds like sheer fantasy. The magic film was never finished, which is why Urueta swears his career vanished overnight. He is cursed. Now the director wants Montserrat and Tristan to help him shoot the missing scene and lift the curse. But Montserrat soon notices a dark presence following her, and Tristan begins seeing the ghost of his ex-girlfriend. as they work together to unravel the mystery of the film and the obscure occultist who once roamed their city, Montserrat and Tristan may find that sorcerers and magic are not only the stuff in movies. In Silver Nitrate, Silvia Moreno-Garcia conjures a tale of movie magic and supernatural suspense. That sounds awesome. It sounds very much like an October read. I think that's probably when I'm going to pick this up. I have so many things I want to read in October, but that, like, it sounds just creepy enough, but not like over the top super scary, because I don't read a lot of horror. So I think that this might be a really good horror match for me. So the third thing I picked up on that release date is The Deep Sky by Yume Kitasei. And look at that cover. Look how pretty that is. Love it. Love it. Okay, so excited. Okay, they left Earth to save humanity. They'll have to save themselves first. It is the eve of Earth's environmental collapse. A single ship carries humanity's last hope. 80 elite graduates of a competitive program who will give birth to a generation of children in deep space. But halfway to a distant but livable planet, a lethal bomb kills 3 of the crew and knocks the Phoenix off course. Asuka, the only surviving witness, is an immediate suspect. Asuka already felt like an imposter before the explosion. She was the last picked for the mission. She struggled during training back on Earth, and she was chosen to represent Japan, a country she knows only partly as a half-Japanese girl raised in America. But estranged from her mother back home, the Phoenix is all she has left. With the crew turning on one another, Asuka is determined to find the culprit before they all lose faith in the mission, or worse, the bomber strikes again. So that sounds amazing. Some of the preliminary reviews talked about it's got a little bit of Handmaid's Tale with the whole, basically the women there are breeding stock, and it's got a lot of the sci-fi kind of last hope for humanity tropes, and all of that together sounds really amazing, and I'm super excited to get to this. I do not know if it's a standalone or if it's the first in a series, but I'm going to find out and I will let you all know. The next 2 things I picked up because they are the reads for next month's book clubs. This summer I did 2 book clubs. I'm not going to do that in the fall. I'm going to just probably do the one. Hopefully I'll be able to do the one, but for August, we're gonna stick with it. And the first one is one that I know a lot of people have already read, but I have not. It is Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors. And from what I've heard, this is a love it or hate it kind of thing. It's supposed to be domestic thriller. I do really enjoy domestic thrillers, so I strongly think I'm gonna love this one. Think you know the person you married? Think again. Things have been wrong with Mr. and Mrs. Wright for a long time. Every anniversary, the couple exchange traditional gifts, and Adam's wife writes him a letter she never lets him read. Until now. Self-confessed workaholic Adam Wright has face blindness. He can't even recognize his own wife. And Amelia is sick of feeling unseen. When Adam and Amelia went a weekend away to Scotland, it may be just what their marriage needs. This weekend may make or break their marriage, but they didn't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying, and someone doesn't want them to live happily ever after. That does sound pretty good. Also, book set mostly, I guess, in Scotland, so I am excited. This is going to be a very early in August read because the book club is the very first weekend in August. So this will be probably the first thing that I read next month. And the thing I got for the other book club, which is our I think it was called Tea Party Misadventures. So it was Under the Whispering Door, Legends and Lattes, and the third choice is this tiny little book called A Psalm in the Wild Built. And I don't know much about it. I went ahead and just ordered it for book club. I didn't realize it was so tiny. It's been centuries since the robots of Panga gained self-awareness and laid down their tools. Centuries since they wandered en masse into the wilderness, never to be seen again. Centuries since they faded into myth and urban legend. One day, the life of a tea monk is upended by the arrival of a robot, there to honor the old premise of checking in. The robot has one question: what do people need? But the answer to that question depends on who you ask and how. They're going to need to ask it a lot. I have no idea what that means or what's going to happen in this. Again, super little, but I know Becky Chambers is a really great writer, and I think it'll be fun. I hope that we can fill a full hour of discussion with this. I don't know, but I will let you guys know at the end of August. At the very beginning of the month, Barnes & Noble started the promotion to benefit the Premier members. It was like triple points or something like that. So I picked up some things that had been on my list for a little bit, not long. They haven't been out for too long. They were still kind of in the new release section, but they'd been out for a month or two. And I kept looking at them and kept looking at them. And then when I was like, oh, triple points, okay, you got me. And the first is Chain Gang AllStars, and this sounds amazing. I really do love a good adult dystopia, and I believe that is what this is. Loretta Thurwar and Hamara Hurricane Stacker are the stars of the Chain Gang AllStars, the cornerstone of CAPE, or Criminal Action Penal Entertainment, a highly popular, highly controversial, profit-raising program in America's increasingly dominant private prison industry. It's the return of the gladiators, and prisoners are competing for the ultimate prize, their freedom. In CAPE, prisoners travel as links and chain gangs, competing in death matches before packed arenas with righteous protesters at the gate. Thurwar and Stax, both teammates and lovers, are fan favorites. And if all goes well, Thurwar will be free in just a few matches, a fact she carries as heavily as her lethal hammer. As she prepares to leave her fellow links, Thurwar considers how she might help preserve their humanity in defiance of these so-called games. But CAPE's corporate owners will stop at nothing to protect their status quo, and the obstacles they lay in Thurwar's path have devastating consequences. Moving from the links in the field to the protesters to the CAPE employees and beyond, Chain Gang AllStars is a kaleidoscopic, exonerating look at the American prison system's unholy alliance of systematic racism, unchecked capitalism, and mass incarceration, and a clear-eyed reckoning with what freedom in this country really means from a new and necessary American voice. That sounds absolutely amazing. I am here for it, and I cannot wait to get to this one. The other one that I picked up in this group is S.A. Cosby's All the Sinners Bleed. And I have like multiple S.A. Cosby things on my to buy list, and I haven't picked them up yet. And so when I had the chance to grab this one, I thought, well, this will be a good first one. And once I read this and I know how I feel about their writing, then I can make sure that I go in and get the others if I'm still interested. And I got a strong feeling I'm gonna be. I think this is gonna be a harder read. I don't think this is gonna be light and fluffy from what I understand, but I know that it's gonna be good. A black sheriff, a serial killer, a small town ready to combust. Titus Crown is the first black sheriff in the history of Sharon County, Virginia. In recent decades, Sharon has had only 2 murders. After years of working as an FBI agent, Titus knows better than anyone that while his hometown might seem like a land of moonshine, cornbread, and honeysuckle, secrets always fester under the surface. Then a year to the day after Titus's election, a school teacher is killed by a former student, and the student is fatally shot by Titus's deputies. These festering secrets are now out in the open and ready to tear the town apart. As Titus investigates the shootings, he unearths terrible crimes and a serial killer who has been hiding in plain sight, haunting the dirt lanes and woodland clearings of Sharon. With the killer's possible connections to a local church and the town's harrowing history weighing on him, Titus projects confidence about closing the case while concealing a painful secret from his own past. At the same time, he also has to contend with a far-right group that wants to hold a parade in celebration of the town's Confederate history. Sharon is Titus's home and his heart, but where faith and violence meet, there will be a reckoning. Powerful and unforgettable, All the Sinners Bleed confirms S.A. Cosby as one of the most muscular, distinctive, grab-you-by-the-ears voices in American crime fiction. I am so here for this. This absolutely sounds amazing. It's not super long, and it just sounds like it's going to have me from beginning to end. I can't wait to get to this. The next I bought is a group of 3 right there at the beginning of the month, and I don't know which I'm more excited about. I'm so excited about all 3. So my receipt is in that one. I want to pull that out. This just looks so amazing. How cute is this cover? A Most Agreeable Murder. Like, how do you not, like, how do you leave this in the bookstore? It's by Julia Seals, and I don't know how you walk by it and it doesn't go home with, I don't know how anybody can walk by it, it doesn't go home with them. The cover is that pretty. So I think this is like a Austen-esque, but then add in murder mystery, and like, how does that not sound amazingly cool? So, okay. Feisty, passionate, Beatrice Steele has never fit the definition of a true lady, at least not according to the strict code of conduct that reigns in Swampshire, her small English township. She is terrible at needlework, she has absolutely no musical ability, and her artwork is so bad it frightens people. Nevertheless, she lives a perfectly agreeable life with her marriage-scheming mother, prankster father, and 2 younger sisters, beautiful Louisa and forgettable Mary. But Beatrice harbors a dark secret. She is obsessed with the crime cases she reads about in the newspaper. If anyone in her etiquette-obsessed community found out, she'd be deemed a morbid creep and banished from respectable society forever. For her family's sake, she vows to put her obsession behind her, if for no better reason than that eligible bachelor Edmund Croaksworth is set to attend the approaching autumnal ball, and the Steele family hopes that Louisa will steal his heart. If not, Martin Grubb, their disgusting cousin, will inherit the family's estate, and the Steeles will be ruined or, even worse, forced to move to France. So Beatrice must be on her best behavior. A difficult challenge when a disgraced yet alluring detective inexplicably shows up at the ball. Beatrice is just holding things together when Croaksworth drops dead in the middle of a minuet. As a storm rages outside, the evening descends in a frenzy of panic, fear, and betrayal as it becomes clear that the guests are trapped with a killer. Contending with competitive card games, tricky tonics, and Swampshire's infamous squelch holes, Beatrice must rise above decorum and decency to pursue justice and her own desires before anyone else is murdered. Doesn't that sound amazing? Oh my goodness. This month for new books, y'all, there's so many good ones. I'm just like, there's not enough time. I need an extra few months of summer so that I can read everything. And this next one literally was the one when I went to the bookstore. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get that. And then of course that didn't happen, but this sounds amazing. It is called Dead 11. It is by Juliano. And from what I understand, this is like a cult book, like a cult horror book, which, yes, sign me up. I love the culty kind of things. And it's like a cult where they're like trapped in the 90s and they all watch the Bronco chase with OJ every night on, I guess, video cassettes. So like, how do you not just totally want to jump into this thing? So, okay. Clifford Island. When Willow Stone finds these words written on the floor of her deceased son's bedroom, she's perplexed. She's never heard of it before, but soon learns it's a tiny island off Wisconsin's Door County Peninsula, 200 miles from Willow's home. Why would her son write this on his floor? Hoping to find answers, Willow sets out for the island. After a few days on Clifford, Willow realizes this place is not normal. Everyone seems to be stuck in 1994. They wear outdated clothing, avoid modern technology, and perhaps most mystifyingly, watch the O.J. Simpson car chase every evening. When she asks questions, people are evasive, but she learns one thing: close your curtains at night. High schooler Lily Beckett has lived on Clifford her entire life, and she is sick of the island's twisted mythology and adhering to the rules. She's been to the mainland, and everyone is normal there. So why is Clifford so weird? Lily vows to prove that the islanders' beliefs are a sham. But are they? Then Willow disappears. Her brother, Harper, comes to Clifford to look for her, and when he learns the truth, that this island is far more sinister than anyone could have imagined, he is determined to blow the whole thing wide open, if he can get out alive. Yes, please. That just sounds like an adventure from beginning to end, and I am here for it. I don't know that this will wait for October. It might, because it seems like it's got the right vibes for a good kind of spooky, culty, but I might need to get to it before then. We'll see. This one I picked up with those last two. It seemed like a cross between a horror kind of sci-fi, and I don't know why I was in the mood for that kind of thing, but it's called The First Bright Thing, and it is by J.R. Dawson. And first off, how cool is that? That is a great cover, and I believe it's like a weird circus with all sorts of crazy stuff going on. Let's see. Ringmaster Rin, to those who know her best, can jump to different moments in time as easily as her wife, Odette, soars from bar to bar on the trapeze. And the circus they lead is a rare home and safe haven for magical misfits and outcasts, known as Sparks. With the world still reeling from World War I, Rin and her troupe, the Circus of the Fantasticals, travel the Midwest, offering a single night of enchantment and respite to all who step into their big top. But threats come at Rin from all sides. The future holds an impending war that the Sparks can see barreling toward their show and everyone in it. And Rin's past creeps closer every day, a malevolent shadow she can't fully escape. It takes the form of another circus with tents as black as midnight and a ringmaster who rules over his troupe with a dangerous power. Rin's circus has something he wants, and he won't stop until it's his. That sounds amazing. So we've got some paranormal, we got some magic, we got weird black tented circus trying to take over. It sounds like an amazingly great time, and I, again, cannot wait to get to it. And finally, I picked up actually 5 books, these ones, from my Book of the Month box. If you want to hear anything about these 5, I'm going to go ahead and link that video of my unboxing right here so that you can go from this one straight into that and see the other 5 things that I also picked up this month to make probably my biggest haul to date. Please go ahead and watch that video next. And in the meantime, I hope that you have an absolutely amazing rest of your week and that you get to read some amazing books. Bye, y'all.